scholars from RaiderNation received the rare and unique opportunity to actually go and attend the Atlanta red carpet premiere for the movie The Hate U Give. In addition to the movie being filmed here in Atlanta, our school was one of the featured locations. Students got to interview and interact with the director and some of the actors from the film. Let's take a look. My main question is your role star. She has two distinctive sides about her. So how did you prepare for the role?
I prepared a bunch of different ways. We kind of created like a chart that was kind of reflective of those different facets of Star and how she code switches depending on the environment that she's in. So we kind of had this scale of like, depending on her environment, how comfortable she was, who she was around, how she would relate to those people and act in that environment. We prepared by researching these actual events. I was pretty familiar with them already, because like Black Lives Matter is something I really care about, but just looked at videos. Unfortunately, we have really visceral video footage and evidence of these events happening in real life. But so we use those as a tool. I feel like a lot of Star is actually my older sister.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel like you can see a lot of her in it. So part of preparation was just spending time with her and talking about the material and applying both my own experiences, which were really similar to Star's, but also her experiences too.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Why did you choose Mays High School as a platform for you to produce your movie?
I'm gonna just tell you, originally how it happened. There was one school that we saw, right? And I thought I liked the school, the way it looked. But then that school told us they didn't want us to shoot there at all because they was afraid that the movie was going to be racism. They felt like the book and they didn't like the title. And I was like, forget about that. So we started looking. I didn't think I was going to find anything else. And in this beautiful school with the blue colors, the long hallways, and a big basketball courtroom that we really need, and the lockers, the blue was what we were looking, the color tones. So it really worked out.
Okay, another question. So, why was it so important to bring this story to the big screen?
It's very important because everybody loved the book so much. So we really want to have people feel inspired and walk away. And how do you deal with race? And I really think a movie is the best way to really get this message across.
Two more questions. Okay, so the next one is, how involved were you in selecting the cast?
Oh, from the beginning, Amanda was the first person we went after, and I loved her as an actress. And then Regina, Paul, Issa Rae, Carmen, everybody loved the book. So it's just really about having the right cast, and that's something that we did all collectively together with the studio and myself and the producers.
Right, okay, and the last thing, was it ever, due to what's going on in the world right now about race and gender and all of these things going on right now and the hate going around, was it ever hard for you was it ever a moment where you had to stop filming because the scene was too hard?
No, we kept pushing through. There was some very emotional scenes, very much emotional. And we just kept pushing because we felt a responsibility that's important to get this movie out for many people, many families that have been through this. And we just wanted to do the right thing and make the best movie possible.
Why was it so important for you to bring this role to life?
Great question. For me, it was so important to bring Khalil to life because I realized that my reality isn't far from Khalil. I'm a young black man in America. This can happen to me at any time, just like it happened to him. So it's important for me to, with my art, to say something that's actually saying something, not just doing art that tickles people's ears or something that's good to see. That's cool sometimes, but you want to be saying something, leave a legacy.
Any obstacles that you faced when you were writing the book, and did you ever get discouraged or anything?
My biggest obstacle was myself when I was writing the book because I was afraid that it wasn't something people would take to. I didn't think it would even get published, but I had to get over my own fear and just decide to write it for myself. So that was like my biggest obstacle. And that fear, honestly, is what led me to my literary agent and brought me, honestly, to this moment because I asked an agent if this was even an appropriate topic for a book, and he was like, yeah, I'd love to read it. So that's been pretty much my biggest obstacle, my own fears. The book has been challenged in places, and that's sometimes disheartening when school districts try to ban it and stuff. But students have spoken up for it so much, and they fought for it and made their voices heard. So that gives me hope, and I'm encouraged by that. Okay, and the last question.
What was your first reaction when you learned that, okay, this is going to be a movie?
I screamed when I heard. When I got the call, I screamed. And then I was like, well, will it really happen? Because you just never know. Sometimes things fall apart. But I remember when I walked on the set my first day, I was like, is this really happening? And then here I am now. I'm like, is it really going to come out? So it's still surreal. It was surreal from that moment.
Be sure to check out The Hate U Give in select theaters now. All Next Gen participants, be ready for your meeting on Wednesday during third block. Check in with your third block teacher to receive attendance and any assignments. Our Mays High Raiders are taking on South Paulding this Friday at 7:30 at South Paulding. Come out and support our Raiders. Our Dr. Mays quote for this week is, "It isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled,
But it is a calamity not to dream." This has been Nori Moore
and Jamie Witherspoon
for your RaiderNation Report.
Good morning, Mays family, and welcome to this edition of the RaiderNation Report. Hey, what I want to talk about for this week are your grades. And so on Wednesday, today, we're going to be handing out your progress reports first at parent-teacher conferences. So please encourage your parents to come to parent-teacher conferences in order to get the progress report. Now, don't tell them nothing is happening on Wednesday to avoid the persecution of possibly a less than stellar progress report. Have them to come talk to your teacher so we can find out what it is that you need to do in order to recover grades and to get to the point where we're passing. Don't forget, exceeding expectation is the expectation. And so make sure, however, that you are talking to your teachers about what it is that you need to do in order to demonstrate the amount of content knowledge that is reflective of a passing grade. Not necessarily what can I do to make up work, but what ways can I demonstrate that I know the content so that your grade is really a percentage of the content knowledge that you know and not how much work that you have turned in. And so it's important that we stay on top of that 9th, 10th, 11th, and we had the assembly yesterday, seniors, about how important your grades are throughout your high school career, as we are only preparing you to be college and or career ready by the time that you graduate. So I'm just going to focus this message on make sure that we are passing. Make sure that you know your GPA, because your GPA is a measure of how well you do school. And so there's no way that we can know how well you do school if you don't know your GPA. It's equivalent to having a job and not knowing how much you get paid. And so we come to school for a plethora of reasons, but one most importantly is to be successful inside the classroom. So it's important. It is so important that when you come to school, we're not meandering, we're not loitering, and we're not doing anything that takes time away from class, like asking your teacher to go get some stuff, or asking your teacher to break the 20/20 rule, or just simply leaving or doing things to get extricated from class, when going to class, staying in class, and being successful in class is the most important thing that we have here. It is so important. And so focus. I talked a while ago about having goals. What are your goals? What is your goal today? What are your goals for the week, for the month, and for the larger school year? Part of those goals, if you didn't do it the first time I mentioned it, please take a moment to do it today. But part of those goals are, what are your goals academically? What are your goals to how well you want to perform in the classroom? And don't make it so it's so insurmountable you can't get it. Do it a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. Like if you're losing weight, you don't just say, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. You say, I'm going to lose 5 pounds a week. So scaffold that thing so that you can get to where you want in a way that you experience success and you don't experience downfall. Make sure, Mays family, that you are passing all your classes. Have a wonderful day.